I'll probably have to follow up this essay, this next one, with a little addendum about different forms of duality, because they come up a lot. There's lots of different interpretations and framings of different aspects of duality. So this is going to be talking about some forms of duality that come up in your modern day cultural narrative. And you got it totally wrong. So it's going to be a little offensive because you really don't like hearing when you're wrong. Deal with it. This one's called Return to the Tribe. And you can just search me with the title. You'll pull up the essay. It's all free, never monetized. Return to the Tribe. Your culture is uninformed and wrong. There are a lot of dumb ideas circulating on the internet. Here, I want a man to be a leader, embodying the masculine energy by planning dates and vacations, by taking care of the chores without me reminding him like his mother, without needing me to be his therapist because he is a rock who can weather turmoil on his own. That is a meme invented recently. For 300,000 years of Homo sapiens, we didn't have this problem. Only in the last couple thousand years did this psychological error creep further into the cultural conversation. Let's unpack all the ways that this framing is wrong. Leadership. We've spent 80 years and billions of dollars studying leadership in business. We know exactly what works. My library had an entire section on group dynamics and leadership research. Specifically, a leader is responsible for motivating the workers by expressing why. The underlying emotional and systemic motivations for the work. Then the leader delegates responsibilities according to proven ability, fitting the task to the people. Finally, the leader gives their workers the liberty to pursue that goal in their own fashion while being available to provide guidance and listening. That is actual leadership. So if a woman wants me to be the leader in regards to a restaurant or vacation, this is what Anthony the leader says. Wouldn't it be fun and relaxing and give us a chance to connect and reinvigorate our spark if we go somewhere that we both enjoy? I, as your leader, delegate that to you. You need to find a restaurant you like and schedule a date and time, transportation, set a budget for the evening. I recommend that you look at their website ahead of time to identify which menu items you prefer so that you save time when we get there. Print a copy for me. I'm available for coaching if you have any confusion or struggles with that task, worker. I don't think that was what women meant when they said they want men to be leaders. In reality, if a woman wants a man to plan the date and then she's not looking for an actual leader, she wants a secretary who does event planning. Same for remembering to do chores on your own. That's not a man being a leader. It's called a cleaning service. When a woman wants a man to plan dates and do chores, she's looking for a butler, not a leader. I'll hire a cleaning crew instead to save our marriage and rob you of your favorite excuses to complain. You should be focused on more important work anyway. My time is more valuable than a cleaning crew's. That's delegation, leadership. On the other end of that meme insanity, men are expected to take the lead by pushing and forcing, making all the moves while she's passive, being insistent while she's limp. Women say, "I want a man who pushes me against the wall and has his way with me." That's not leadership. That's dictatorship. And in the bedroom, it's called sexual assault. I have self-respect and integrity, and I value liberty. So I refuse to obey a woman who commands me to be her dictator assault. She can go work at the White House if she wants one of those. If you cannot express your own needs and interests and desires like an adult, you cannot kindle your own action, instead relying upon someone else to be your ignition, then you are emotionally immature and you lack intrinsic motivation. You're a sea slug. You're a burden. You failed at being an adult. Work on that before you try forming a relationship. The women who want a leader so that she can surrender to him are the women who want to avoid personal responsibility. They fail to be self-starters, looking instead for someone else to take charge of their own life. Like a child. Grow up, because I refuse to date children. Let's talk about gender. The recent memes about masculine and feminine energies are founded on a lack of knowledge. They are fundamentally ignorant of thousands of years of dialogue on the topic. When dating advice memers talk about masculine and feminine energies, they are stealing the words from those ancient texts while completely corrupting and inverting the meanings and intentions. Here. In the East, the masculine and feminine energies were expressed in the yin-yang of Taoism. I'm a Taoist. The topic is dear to my heart. In the West, those same masculine and feminine energies were written into alchemical literature, such as the Kybalion. I'm also an alchemist. A whole section of my library contained everything from Frater Albertus to Fulcanelli to the Bahir. The key purpose of identifying those masculine and feminine energies was for each person to become a whole psyche by union of both energies within themselves. That was the completed circle of yin-yang. And the union of Hermes and Aphrodite in the alchemic works. Today, in contrast, influencers pretend that a woman should be feminine only and a man masculine only. That is a regressive and unstable psyche for both people. And they become dependent upon someone outside themselves for balance, which is unhealthy. If a woman needs someone else to be the man, then she has not integrated her psyche, and she will continually seek others to complete her own self, like a parasite. That's gross. Everyone who actually studied the philosophies and mystical traditions says the opposite. Similarly, there is the shadow. While Jung identified this aspect of self well, and the integration of the shadow is vividly seen in tribal societies, the modern memer never bothered to read and learn what it actually meant and why it was important. Our shadow is everything that we hide from within ourselves. Both the dark, hurtful parts and the timid, vulnerable parts. When someone fails to integrate their shadow, then they only let their partner see half of their face, hiding in shame all those other features. People only perform that masking when they are incomplete, needy, seeking validation and approval by fitting someone else's expectations. A man who is always tough, strong, calm, confident is not actually a man. He's a sham, hiding his vulnerabilities because he fears being seen as weak, fearing criticism and rejection. A woman who's always happy, pleasant, receptive, gracious is a farce, using trickery to convince her audience that she's never been hateful or greedy, because she needs to aura farm for approval in order to boost her fragile ego. Men who are secure in their own self are glad to admit their vulnerabilities because they don't care about your opinion of them. Women who are honest about their whole self are glad to admit their rotten impulses because they have the self-control to choose wisely in the face of those urges. When you feel you must fit a mold, then you're bowing to peer pressure like a middle schooler. You never learned how to be honest to yourself about yourself, and so you cannot be honest with your partner. Never fully intimate. Your life is a lie. Compassion and relatedness. Tribal societies are overwhelmingly matriarchal. A circle of wise grandmothers unite everyone and choose what is best for the whole tribe for 7 generations. All the early agricultural societies were matriarchal too. Only when barbarian horsemen invaded from the steppes of Eurasia to murder and assault did we ever become patriarchal. Those genocidal sexual assaulters systematically killed female leaders, breeding submissive women as slaves. Our DNA has been altered dramatically in the last 7,000 years as a result. And brains have been shrinking 30 times faster than they ever grew because submissive women are the dumb ones. The wise grandmothers were not dictators. They led with compassion. That care for all was what everyone in the tribe could rely upon and trust. It was why the tribe was so glad to obey Grandma. When the genocidal assaulters took over, they used violence and theft to keep control, exploiting and destroying everything around themselves in order to keep the scraps in their own pockets. They spread like a forest fire or a virus, depleting and degrading every region they reach. When those genocidal assaulters arrived in a region, then the population would collapse for a millennium. And so would the region's technological sophistication. Those warlords never invented anything, never created new arts or philosophies. Instead, they packed their warlord burial mounds with all the gold they stole and the corpses of their slaves who were sacrificed and buried with them. Their entire culture is a giant Darwin Award. Those warlords were incapable of empathy. We see in brain scans that there are folks who are neurologically incapable of compassion. An entire region of their brain is TV static. It's a genetic disorder. They cannot ever be trusted to care or make wise choices for all of us. They are always selfish, destructive, and they collapse whatever environment they inhabit. They burn out like that forest fire, unable to sustain themselves. In contrast, the only way to have a healthy relationship is mutual relatedness. Both partners must seek empathy with the other as an opportunity for compassion and deeper intimacy and understanding. If you don't share your true feelings, then true love is impossible. If you are unwilling to receive the true feelings of your partner, then true love is impossible. That's not being a man's therapist. It's called being loving. If you want a man who doesn't open his heart to you, trauma and uncertainty bear to your witness, then you deserve a man who is as callous to you as you are to him. You only deserve the kind of love that you give. Brain scans are already in use in multiple countries, and they're getting cheaper every year. Wise, virtuous, empathic people will soon volunteer to get a scan to prove that they're good and loving. We will only date within our own group. Everyone who didn't qualify will be left over to copulate with people like themselves. Our empathic society will function, and the swarm of liars and scammers will implode. That is guaranteed because virtue is the foundation of a functioning society. You only have a few more years left before that fair judgment of your character. Will you qualify? Worth and meaning. I don't value myself according to how many immature and superficial women desire my body. I produce state-of-the-art results in multiple industries, and my work is the backbone of multi-billion-dollar companies. I have real accomplishments to be proud of. Your praise, your derision are merely opinions. Neither alter reality, neither matter to me. Your fundamental error was thinking that your own opinion is important. Only results matter. I motivated myself to do that work. No boss told me to do it. I woke up, looked around the world to see where I could make a difference, and then I put years of effort into making that happen on my own. I prove my persistence and my competencies. And I repeatedly gave my work away for free because I understand that my generosity is proof of my strength. The man who is continually grasping for more money is afraid of lack, frail and empty inside, desperate and needy. I wouldn't trade my life for his. When you measure yourself built upon pleasure and approval, then you are dependent upon things outside yourself, beyond your own control. You are like a kite in the wind. True foundation of self rests upon your own choices, the worthiness of the goals and actions you take upon yourself, the proof of your own soul. If you can't handle that, then you need to admit as much to yourself and your partner and let them dominate you like a slave, because you're too lazy and selfish to do anything valuable on your own. I can't stand slave-hearted, pick-me-girl, trad-wife, nice guy simps. So I'm glad to dodge that bullet and live without you. I get more done when I don't need to micromanage oafs. Tribal societies and ancient wisdom traditions agree on these points. Only your clickbait scammers say otherwise. Read the research, learn the facts, or you're doomed to fall for dumb advice from dumb people. And you have only yourself to blame for that.